Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, December 17th, 2021, and we're going to get started here with our pre-market analysis on the S&P 500 futures market. So let's just quickly review what we talked about yesterday morning, and that was the fact that we did have some bearish clues up at the top. In fact, we even saw the daily could potentially be printing a bearish signal. However, because of the situation that we're in with the relentless bullish push, we were expecting there would be some kind of pullback. So we wanted to kind of be short out of the open. And then once we found some support in the market, we wanted to start looking for some longs, assuming we did get a bounce off of one of the areas we had below us. And sure enough, we basically were it just sold off all morning. And that's why I told the members in the room that we should probably be looking more for shorts rather than trying to catch the bottom on the pullback, just in case this started to get heavy. And sure enough, it really never found strong support, although we did come all the way down right into this area, right around all this resistance over here. Let's go ahead and mark this area right here, and then bounced, 2 points in front of it there. So they kind of teased anyone who was waiting down here, especially with our eye level here around 36.50, waiting for that bounce from there. They went ahead and front ran that and got that bounce going into the end of the day there. And then we've just basically been kind of petering out here throughout Globex, bringing us to where we are right now. So in the grand scheme of things, we're still within the range of the last, let's just say the last week of price action here. So we've kind of been trekking up and down within this 150 point range. And so it'll be interesting to see what comes here this morning. Let's go ahead and jump up to the ultra high time frame, see if there's anything that they are telling us. Our quarterly, still does not have any indications of a bearish exhaustion pattern from the RVI divergence perspective. We do have that candle that maybe is a little bit ambivalent that closed from the last quarterly bar, but still holding 50% of that bar as well. So somewhat of that bullish indication. Our monthly, again, we talked about this yesterday. We have the bearish off the highs. We have the bullish off the pullback. We're basically in that tight crunch there to see who's going to win out on that time frame. And then on the weekly here, we did have, again, the agreement with the monthly. So the bearish off the highs, bullish off the lows. And recently, we've just pushed to new all-time highs, but the RVI is not at new highs. So you can see the line I drew here on RVI. We'd have to get up to that level and break it in order to not have a potential bearish argument here on the weekly. So there is somewhat of a bearish case right now. Again, unless they continue to push over the next week or two and this RVI comes back up, right? So we'll have to kind of monitor that. For right now, we do have a little bit of a bearish and a bullish battle up top here on our high time frames. On our daily, there was that bearish signal that yesterday I didn't have an arrow up there. We just said that we did push up here in the overnight session and the RVI was lower, so there was potential when this candle closed for there to be some type of bearish signal. And now I would argue we broke the candle low, we've come down lower. So in this case, we basically have, and I just did it again, hit the wrong button. We have that bearish divergence pattern up top. So basically agreeing as well with the weekly and the monthly signal of a potential bearishness from the highs, but we did have the bullish case from that 50% pullback area that we've been talking about. So we're kind of in a crunchy situation up top here. Let's go to the 4-hour. From this 4-hour perspective, if this RVI comes down to this level right here, about 36, maybe 36.1% there on RVI, that will give us a potential bullish divergence down here, assuming we don't break below this level on the price. So there's potentially a bullish signal setting up on the 4-hour, but we don't have it right now. All we have is that really clear bearish signal that we saw just before the open yesterday. For now, the 4-hour is only giving us bearish signals. There's potential a bullish signal could start to form eventually, but remember, we have room all the way down to the low back here at 46.02. So this is 02 even. So assuming price doesn't break O2 even, and this RVI does come down and break that previous low, we will have that situation. So we'll watch that. We'll monitor it this morning. But right now we do have a lot more of these bearish clues right now. And then any of the bullish arguments that we have are right here. Remember, right off the previous resistances that we talked back here as potential support as we pull back. And sure enough, there's the support. Once these two break, there's no more that signal has basically been negated. We can expect that deeper pullback. So we'll watch and see if that occurs. And then as we get down to these shorter time frames, what we're getting here is this coiling up where we have like those slightly lower lows, slightly lower highs, and the RVI itself is kind of coiling up as well. And we're going to see this on a few of these shorter time frames. So right now it's going to be a battle in here. It's going to be hard to call who's going to win out here. Again, anything's possible. So there's really not a strong confluence this morning outside of that very bearish signal we're starting to really build off of the all-time high. So let's go down to the intermediate time frames real quick. And again, here's that coil going on right over in this area. And let me redraw that from that low to that low. Make sure we get that. And so that's the kind of the little channel we're in. And then you can see on RVI as well, you've got channeling going on through there. So this is going to be important. We're going to want to see a break one way or the other here. If it does start to kind of break to the upside like that, we might want to look for a pullback to get a long to see if we get continuation higher. And again, the 10-minute and the 30-minute, they're not going to really help because we're just going to see a lot more of this whole kind of coiling situation going on and channeling through here. So until we actually get out of this channel, it's going to be hard to say who's going to win out here. What we do have are some bullish arguments from the lows, but a lot of them are extrapolations back to, say, back here. And as you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of that. So not really, in my opinion, the strongest bullish signal from the lows, but because of all this coiling going on, at some point it's going to break one way or the other. So we'll see. I'm not going to hang my hat one way or the other, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens here. So this is pretty quick pre-market here this morning. Really not much else to add to the picture. We had this downward channel. We talked about the potential for them to break through this coming into a few days ago. They came up, they used it as resistance, and then broke through. We got what looked like was going to be a breakout to the upside, and now we're right back into this previous range that we were in. So, yeah, it's going to be tricky here. And we're just going to have to go with what the market does. Again, we do have a whole bunch of bearish signals from that previous daily high. So the pullback, I guess, is not too surprising. The question is, where are we going to find that larger support? And if we zoom back out to the higher time frames here, you can see we held the 50, and again, those previous swing highs we were watching. We even came back down to attempt to break or retest that level and held, and got the big launch to the new all-time highs, but then we got all this going on here. So coming down a little bit lower, I do like the fact that we have this naked swing high right here coming across right around that. You know what, I'm going to use this other tool here, coming across right here, and let's see if we can't get that across. So that could be a potential strong support, and it might be within a range here because we do have kind of this whole little area of swing highs right up to that, to the tick, the top of that wick right there. So if things pull back and we can't hold this area, again, where we had all the other bullish arguments, then deeper into here would make sense. And then if that doesn't really hold, maybe they will come down into this area over here and hold up from here. But again, these are just ideas of where it would make sense for some type of reaction just based off of all this previous price action. You can even go back to October and see that this level right here, pretty relevant for resistance, and then pretty relevant for support all the way back here. So that level would be the next relevant level below us, and then we're coming all the way back down, maybe into 21, 22 there. Outside of that, it's coming back to retrace the whole push back from these lows that we talked about a long time ago. Back at this was on the old contract all the way back at the beginning of October. We talked about that bullish morning, or the morning that showed all the bullish arguments from. So going all the way back there, we're looking at a retracement all the way down into 44.11, or maybe even down into this 43.55 if there was to be some major sell-off of 300 points here. But for right now, this is what we're looking at here. For the bullish case, we want to get through 46.50 quarter to start, and then we really need to get through 92.50. If the market cannot get through those two lines in the sand, then it's a clue that the bears are going to continue to stay in power here. And again, some of these deeper retracements of this smaller leg we'll have to watch for, and then if they end up breaking through all this, then we have to zoom all the way out to the larger leg. So I'll leave it at that for everyone watching out there on the internet, and we're going to jump down to our shorter time frames here and go to our member section and start looking to see if we can't get some trades off this morning. It is going to be a mixed scenario, and we'll have to wait and see who jumps on board for the strength this morning, and we'll follow their lead. Take care.